So I'm sitting right now in the choir loft of Pinnacle Presbyterian Church. On Sunday afternoon, February 23rd, this loft will be filled with our own Arizona Music Fest Festival Chorus, a phenomenal chorus under the direction of chorus master Dr. Rebecca Lord. We also have two amazing soloists. The work calls for soprano and baritone soloist Twyla Robinson, who has recorded this work with the Atlanta Symphony, is our soprano. This will be her debut at Arizona Music Fest. And a beloved baritone with Music Fest, Troy Cook, who has performed all over the world, recently making his debut at Covent Garden, will be back with us to be the baritone solo. The Brahms Requiem is an important and powerful work on multiple levels. You can't say that for every piece of music, but there are some that fit this bill, and I think none more importantly than the Brahms. It's a work of musical mastery. It's the longest work that Johannes Brahms ever wrote, by far, and it shows a depth just in the length and scope of writing that seems to bring all of the greatest of Brahms, from his songs, from his symphonies, from his piano works. All of the power and maturity of that comes to play in this work. It's a deeply spiritual work, and this applies regardless of one's faith. I think the important thing to say is that Brahms took this on as maybe the most personal work he ever wrote. You see, in 1865, his mother passed away, and just a few years later, one of his very closest friends and colleagues, Robert Schumann, attempted suicide. He was very close to the Schumanns, and this affected him greatly. So in about 1868, he started working on the Requiem. There are moments where the references are so exact that it's clear he is remembering his mother specifically. And you feel that as you listen to the Requiem. It's also personal in that Brahms wanted this to be a Requiem of the people, for the people, to quote. This is the first Requiem setting not in Latin. Think of the great Requiems, Mozart Requiem, Verdi Requiem, in Latin, using the traditional Catholic liturgy. Brahms departed from that completely. He used a different selection of text, not the Catholic Requiem Mass, and he also had the singers perform in his native language, German. So this is called a German Requiem. Now here's the important point. Brahms was very clear in his life that he meant for this to be a Requiem for the people. He was a German man, and the first performances were for German people, and that's the reason those performances were in German. But he said later that he almost wished he would have called the work the People's Requiem instead of a German Requiem. He wanted the language to reach the listener instantly, without having to wait for translation. So, here at the Arizona Music Fest, in an English-speaking land, we will perform this work in English. So I think you as the listener, and really the participant, I've said this many, many times, that an audience is an active participant in a music-making experience when it comes to live music. You, the audience, the participant, will have an immediate reaction and connection to the words, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. This is how the piece begins." Or, "Blessed are they who die in the Lord, for they rest from their labors. This is how the piece ends." There's an immediate connection, again I say, regardless of one's faith, that brings in a general spiritual power. Finally, on a personal note, I want to tell you how much I've been looking forward to this work. This will be my first time to conduct the Brahms Requiem. My beginnings as a conductor came about as a choral conductor. My degree from the Eastman School of Music is in choral conducting. I studied with one of the greatest choral teachers living today, Donald Newen. He actually made me promise back at the Eastman School of Music that I would wait until I was at least 40 years old to conduct the Brahms Requiem. He felt and feels that one needs a breadth of lifespan before taking on such powerful work. I'm now 46, so I think it's the right time. I'm personally looking forward to this work. I'm spiritually looking forward to this work. I'm musically looking forward to this work. See you at the performance.